Hey guys, welcome to A Day with a Purpose. My name is Samantha, and I invite you all into this podcast with the hope that you will be inspired, uplifted, and that you will grow in your faith as I talk about real life experiences, my own journey of faith, and everything in between. I hope this podcast encourages you to laugh, learn about God and the Bible, and it shows you that our holy God of the universe loves you and created you with a purpose, and this is a day with a purpose. So without further ado, let's get into episode 2. Hey guys, welcome back to episode 2 of A Day with a Purpose. I am going to be talking about a New York trip that Clint and I took. As you can tell from the title, Taken in New York. Clint and I were recently talking about taking a vacation after Christmas. It got me thinking about a vacation that we took in 2014. It was just him and I. It was our first vacation without our kids. We only had the 2 big girls at the time. And so this was 2014. They would have been like 7 and 8. And this was a vacation and an experience all new for both of us, taking a trip without our kids, taking a trip. We had never flown before. It was going to be our first flight. And so this was a big deal to us. In preparation for this trip, I had always wanted to take a trip to New York. I always said when I was little that I wanted to live in New York. I obviously did not know what I was thinking. But being an adult, I would never live there, but I did love when we got to take a trip there. So in preparation for this trip, at the time where I was working, the ladies there had took a trip to New York. So I was trying to get all the details to do this and do it right to have the best trip. So they was giving me all the places to eat and all the places to shop. And they said, when you get there, knowing that we hadn't flown before, they was like, when you get there, you're going to get your bags. And as soon as you walk out, there's going to be a row of cabs sitting outside of the baggage claim. And they're just going to be waiting to take you somewhere. And the lady that was telling me this, she said, and they'll have like a big sticker on the top of the roof. That way they're legit. And she was like, just make sure they got that sticker on the roof. And so I was like, okay, sticker, got it. So Clint and I, we get on our flight, we get on the plane, and I'm nervous. He's pretty excited. I was excited about the trip, but I'm afraid of heights. And so I was so nervous. And the trip there was great. We had a great little pilot who spoke to us, and he was so cheerful, which helped me. The weather was great. The flight was smooth. One thing so I had been asking people who had been on a plane before, what is it like to ride in a plane? And I was told that when you get into a plane, it's like driving in a car. Makes perfect sense to me now, but at the time, I was thinking it was going to be smooth as butter, not taking into consideration that you have bumps on the road. He actually described this very accurately, because when you're in a plane, there is bumps on a plane, but I wasn't thinking that. So anytime there was any little bump or jar, I was looking around to see if anybody else was panicking or if I should be worried that the plane was going down. But going there was great. It was perfect. A good flight, good pilot, and I was literally praying the whole time. So we got there safely, and you can tell as soon as we get off of this plane that we are the only ones who have never done this before. We are the last ones at baggage claim, and we're getting our bags, and we turn around, and I'm ready to go see all these cabs with the license on the top and the sticker, and I'm going through like what we should be doing. Before we can even make it out there is a tall, slender man dressed in black. He had a black, like a like a leather jacket on, his hands in his pocket, black skinny jeans, black pointy shoes. His hair was gelled back, slick gray. He looked sophisticated, but also at the same time like he could be in the mob. And he's Grecian, come to find out. I am going to absolutely butcher his accent every single time I imitate him. So just forewarning here. So he comes up to us and he goes, "You need cab?" And of course, Clint's like, "Yeah, we need a cab." And I'm thinking, okay, I just figured we met them out there, but whatever. So he goes, "Okay, you ride with me." So he turns around and he starts walking out. And I noticed that as we're walking out, we're walking past the yellow cabs with the stickers on the top. And I'm thinking, okay, he's passing the cabs up. He takes us to a parking garage. He's walking past all these yellow cabs that I'm clearly wanting to get into. And he takes us and he's walking towards this big black souped up SUV. I mean, this thing looks showroom new, like it's just been pulled off the parking lot, like brand new. Looked like something a celebrity would be driving. Nice. And I'm thinking to myself, this ain't no cab. This is not no cab. Like, and Clint just has all our bags and he's just like in awe that we're in New York. And so this man takes our bags and he goes, you go ahead, you get in. And so we get in the car and I'm obviously very uneasy. And I'm looking at Clint and I'm like, I mean, we get in and it's leather blacked out. I mean, not a speck of dirt in this car, in this SUV. It is so nice. It looks like something. And I'm like, this feels all kinds of wrong. And my spidey senses are just, red flags are flying. Like I'm just completely on edge. And I could tell Clint's a little bit concerned. And about this time, he gets in the car and my husband goes, "Hey man, do you have any like sort of identification or anything showing that you're a real cab driver?" And he pulls down his visor and he goes, "Oh yes, here, you need proof, and he gives it to Clint. And I look at Clint and I go, Peyton could have made this on our computer. Like, this does not ease my mind that this guy's legit in any way, shape, or form. And Clint just hands it back to him and he doesn't say anything. And so he pulls back, and as he's pulling back, I go, "Do you have the sticker on the top?" Like, obviously not. Anyways, stupidly, I ask him that, and he goes, "Oh no, only yellow cabs have that. Only yellow cabs have that." And I'm like, "Yeah, I want to be in a yellow cab." He kind of acts like he doesn't hear what I say, so he starts to pull out, and I'm looking at Clint, and I go, "This does not feel right. This does not feel right." So we start to pull out, and I go, "Stop the cab." And I mean, this guy just slams on his brakes. And I said, "I want out of this car right now. Take me back to the yellow cab." And he goes, "Are you serious?" And I said, "I'm dead serious." I said, "I do not want to be in this vehicle. I don't know you. Like, this does not feel right to me." And he goes, "Oh, you think it's like taking..." My heart, guys, dropped. Honestly, I was like, he's seen the show. He knows, like, he knows I know. Like, this is it. And he goes, and Clint goes, "Do you have anything else showing us?" So he like drops down his visor again, and he like shows us some sort of like number. And he's like, "Whatever this is that he shows, I don't even know what it is." Because I honestly just thought that we was kidnapped at that point. And I just am thinking, just let me out to go back to the greasy yellow cab over here. And whatever it is that he shows Clint, I can't even remember what it was, but he shows him like some sort of ID number, and he gives it to him. And he goes, "I can take you back to yellow cab." And Clint looks at him very sternly and he goes, "Take us to our hotel." And he hands him back whatever. Okay, so come to find out later, Clint said, spoiler, we do survive this. But come to find out later, what done it for Clint was he said, I knew when he was going to take us back that he wasn't up to anything. He was like, he was willing to take us back. And I was like, yeah, I didn't have that vibe. But anyways, so we start driving, and this is totally against my will. But what am I going to do? I'm in New York City. I am from the branch. Like, I'm not making it. Like, I can't survive on my own. So I have to stay with Clint, even if we're getting kidnapped and being sold into the black market. Like, I gotta stay, like, in this car. And so we're driving down. We go over the bridge, and he's just taking us down all these back alleys, and like not going through like regular traffic, going through these back alleys. And he's got this earpiece in, and he's just like throwing these peanuts in his mouth. And he goes, and he looks at me one time, and I'm just telling Clint, I'm like, this is just not right. This is just not right. And all I can think the whole time is, my parents are going to see me on Dateline. It's going to, like, I can already see the headline. And, you know, like, she had 2 kids, young. And I thought, that's even if they even find me. Like, all I keep thinking is, Lord, I've got these 2 kids. Like, please get me back to my kids. And, you know, I'm nudging Clint, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I just feel so nervous about this. And he's like, shut up. He's like, just shut up, Samantha. And I could tell he's nervous, though. Like, I could tell that he's nervous, and he's feeling a certain way, but I don't think he would ever admit it. But so this guy looks at me in the rear view mirror after a few minutes, and he says, you still think taken, you still think I'm kidnapping you. You not feel safe. You not feel safe with me. And I said, I will feel safe when you drop me off at my hotel. But right now, no, I'm very uneasy. Probably not the best thing to say, but he knew it was all over my face and my actions. So lying to him wasn't going to get me anywhere. So after a couple of minutes of silence, he's got this earpiece in, and you know, he's, you know, going through all these back alleys, and I'm just thinking, like, where, and all of a sudden he says he gets a phone call, and all we can hear is obviously his conversation on this side, but he says, I got two. No. You owe me money. No, I give you 2 when you give me my money. And I'm thinking, that's it. I was right. I mean, if we go out, you know, at least I can say that I was right about this. And so I think Clint got really nervous when he heard that too, because all we could think about was, I could tell, like, he was thinking, and I'm thinking to myself, you know, I've not been in New York in 30 minutes and I'm dead. I couldn't survive New York 30 minutes. Like, that figures, you know, that's all that I'm thinking. So after a few minutes, we finally arrive. I mean, front step of the Edison Hotel, which is where we stayed, in the middle of Times Square, pretty much. And he gets out, and he just kind of, you know, looks off, but he opens my door for me, and I step out, and I'm just really kind of embarrassed. And I was like, and I just kind of put my head down. I was like, hey, sorry about all that. And he just shook his head, and he was like, that's okay. You call me again when you get in yellow cab. And he gives us his card. And so he was absolutely right. We rode a yellow cab back to the airport after the New York trip, and it was disgusting. It was terrifying. I don't know. It's like real life bumper cars in New York trying to navigate in traffic. I don't know how those people drive or how they keep from hitting each other, because it's like the wild, wild west, trying to get out of there. And the cab was disgusting. The guy was very nice, the cab driver. Questionable, but he was nice. And you know, it's wild. And I definitely wish that we had called our little Grecian friend back and had him come back with the SUV. Turns out he was at the airport because someone had called him and then they canceled, and he just wanted to make his money back. We laugh about it now, but I 100% thought that we was being took. That's one for the books. One of the best trips, though. I highly recommend going. We rode the subway a lot from wherever we was going. We watched a Broadway show. We watched Wicked. We took a day where we just kind of walked around and was trying to see celebrities, and then we actually stopped and talked to one of the locals there, and we was like, hey, do you ever see celebrities? And then they were saying the people that they had seen, but they was like, it really just doesn't happen where you're just walking down the road and you see a celebrity. They kind of know, where to steer clear from so they won't be noticed. And we was like, oh, really? And this was like after all day of us walking around, seeing if we could see anybody famous. And then, so we got back on the subway and we're walking back to our hotel. And kudos to Clint, because he had great direction. He knew, like, I'm telling you, I could not have found my way out of the hotel, and sure couldn't have found my way back. I don't know if it was where I was just in awe of being in New York, or just, I am probably directionally challenged, though. So those two things don't go hand in hand when you ain't paying attention. But I mean, he could get us anywhere. Like, he knew where we was at. But we're walking back to our hotel, and Maggie Gyllenhaal just pops out of one of the little alleys that we're walking next to, one of the apartments, and you can just tell, like, on her face. And if you don't know who she is, Google her. She's been in Batman with I think Heath Ledger, and gosh, I don't remember the guy that played Batman in that, but anyways, you can look her up. She just kind of had a look of fear on her face when she seen that we seen her, and we knew who she was, because I don't think she wanted to be called out. But we seen Matthew McConaughey recording the Today Show, which was a lot of fun. We seen the cast from Hot in Cleveland while we was there, so recording also on the Today Show, so that was a lot of fun. Clint stalked out Fox News. I'm pretty sure they was on high alert, knowing that he was standing out there, because I don't think anybody else in the world is fascinated by the Fox News headquarters there like he was. I'm pretty sure they had people watching him. But he thought that was really neat, and it was just a fun overall trip. It was definitely something that we want to go back and do. Probably take our big girls, since they're big enough to appreciate it now, and we wouldn't have to put them in strollers. So definitely recommend that. Don't recommend being scared like I was. Oh, and I will say this, on the flight back, it was not smooth sailing. Again, God had his hand over us. God had his hand over, like, I was praying to God the whole time coming back, because we was on a late flight. It was of a night. It was a delayed flight. The pilot was upset. He was not friendly, like my first little friendly pilot. The weather was dark. It was raining, and we get up and we're flying probably 10 minutes and maybe 15 minutes. And either way, I was having a heart attack the entire time. And the little pilot comes on. He's frustrated. He's only coming on there when he has to talk. And he says, I'm going to need everyone to sit down and buckle up. We're going to go through some turbulence. Well, my heart drops. And I just think, okay, this is it. Everything's just it, like there's no like, in my dramatic mind, it's just, okay, this is it. And so I'm just praying the entire time. And when I say I'm praying, I'm not just like, I'm sincerely praying and asking God to help. And I ask God to just take away the turbulence. Just please let the turbulence die down. Let us go through it. Let us not have any turbulence. And I will tell you guys, we went through it and we had no turbulence. God heard my prayer and God took care of us. And I was thanking him when we landed. And again, guys, these episodes are going to be just all over the place about everything and anything. You never know what they're going to be about, or so buckle up, because I want to talk on everything from marriage to kids to faith to life to personal experiences and everything in between. So tune in, be sure to catch the next episode, and remember, every day has a purpose. Until next time, bye guys.